America now has crowned a new cheapest car. That phrase used to cycle through a handful of nameplates. Now it points to one fading survivor: the Mitsubishi Mirage. Picture a dealer dashboard. Only a few VINs left, each an outlier in a market where the average new vehicle hovers around the upper $48,000 range. Yet this little hatchback still flashes a base MSRP that, before destination and tax, can begin with a 1. How did a slow, 78 horsepower three-cylinder become the last torchbearer for true bargain pricing? And what happens to cheap once it's gone? For most of the 2010s, there was a ladder: under $15,000 specials, then a cluster in the high teens, then the mainstream 20s. That lower rung cracked. Sub-$20,000 rivals bowed out or drifted upward. Nissan Versa production ending, Kia Rio discontinued, base trims elsewhere erased. The Mirage endured because its platform costs were largely amortized, and global sourcing kept the bill of materials lean. 2024 marked its final U.S. model year. What you see on lots now is controlled sell-down. Each sale isn't just a transaction, it's one less genuinely new vehicle priced where first-time buyers used to start. On paper, it's basic: a 1.2-liter inline-3 making roughly 78 horsepower and about 74 to 75 pound-feet of torque, paired with either a 5-speed manual in scarce base forms or a CVT that most dealers stock. But that tiny engine returns an EPA rated up to around 36 miles per gallon combined. Low 40s highway, just over 30 city depending on trim, rivaling or beating much larger, costlier crossovers on fuel use. That fuel economy number matters now that monthly gasoline costs stack on already stretched payments. Warranty sweetens the value pitch. A 10-year COS 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty for the first owner, and a 5-year 160,000-mile basic coverage. For someone comparing it to a 6- or 7-year-old used compact with no remaining factory warranty, that's real peace of mind, especially when interest rates make new V's used math tighter. Why didn't competitors cling to the same price bracket? The economics shifted. Mandatory safety tech, advanced airbags, stability control refinements, tire pressure systems, emissions hardware, escalating semiconductor content, even in base infotainment units, pushed per-unit costs up. At the same time, automakers found richer margins in small crossovers you can load with appearance packages. If a factory slot can build a vehicle that nets several thousand more in contribution margin, the lowest trim subcompact becomes a strategic sacrifice. The Mirage's secret weapon, mechanical simplicity and minimal annual re-engineering, kept its costs from ballooning, but also froze its appeal outside the price-sensitive niche. Dealers leveraged that niche. Some stocked extra units once the phase-out was announced, knowing scarcity would create urgency. Ironically, sales bumps near the end proved there was still unmet demand for under $20,000 new transportation. Yet the business case for an all-new replacement, meeting current crash standards, offering modern infotainment, and still landing below $20,000, has only gotten tougher. What fills the vacuum when the new cheapest car in America sells its last copy? The psychological floor shifts. Suddenly affordable means $21,000 to $23,000 base sedans or micro crossovers. Think subcompact entries that used to feel like the next step up. That recalibration lets future redesigns creep higher without triggering sticker shock because the anchor reference changed. A ratchet effect locks in. Could electrification drop a new Challenger below $20,000? Not immediately. Batteries remain the largest single-cost element in an EV. Even if raw material prices soften, packaging, thermal management, and compliance overhead keep truly sub-$20,000 EV aspirations on a longer horizon, unless a very low-cost imported model arrives and clears regulatory and tariff hurdles, or domestic production of cheaper chemistries, like LFP in ultra-efficient small platforms, scales dramatically. In the meantime, value shoppers substitute. certified pre-owned compacts, lightly used hybrids, high-mileage sedans, but those lack the Mirage's full, fresh warranty span. That's where the disappearance of this price point widens an access gap. People who need predictable transportation costs lose an on-ramp to new car reliability and safety tech without stepping several $1,000s higher. Possible successors? A stripped, high-efficiency micro-crossover purpose-engineered for low cost. A localized budget EV once battery cost per kilowatt-hour drops further. Or an imported minimalist city car if policy winds shift. Each faces friction, federal state requirements, crash and emissions compliance, consumer expectations for screens and driver assists, and margin pressure. So the Mirage's last units act as closing credits for an era. The new cheapest car in America isn't just a marketing hook. It's the final data point before the market redraws what starting affordability means. When those remaining VINs are gone, a price bracket effectively vanishes. Whether we eventually rebuild a cheaper tier through innovation or accept a permanently higher floor depends on breakthroughs in manufacturing, battery economics, and strategic brand bets that prioritize lifetime customer capture over immediate margin. Until then, that little 78 horsepower, approximately 36 miles per gallon hatchback represents something larger, the end of a path that let a first-time buyer step directly into a factory-fresh warranty for under 20 grand. Once the leading digit flips for good, there's no clear staircase back down, only a hope that the next disruption points affordability downward again instead of further up.